Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, and I'm here with my real tight homegirl and my daughter-in-law, Beatrice.
That's me.
We are here to talk Sister Wives, honey, the never-ending season 19.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we're here again. I feel like we've been here for these many years.
I think we have.
Languishing in the same season.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Now, before we get into our recap, we do have to warn you to please hide your wife and hide your kids. This is a politically incorrect podcast, which simply means we say a lot of dumb, bad words.
Yeah.
We have stupid opinions.
Objectively.
And we're not going to apologize about
No.
it. So if you're sensitive,
Bye. Smell you later.
you might want to find yourself another dumpster.
Get out of here.
But if you didn't get enough of Christine and David making out during season 19 and you want to see some recaps and some clips, welcome to this.
And hear all of the mouth noises associated with those kissings. Oh my God. Disgusting. But if you like what we do over here and think we're very funny and pretty, go follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe. We have so much bonus content up on there, ad-free episodes. This month we're starting coverage on season 2 of The Valley, which is crazy. So you want to go to Patreon for that.
Yes. In fact, every single week of June, we've got a video catching up with The Valley.
Wow.
We're really into it. It's turbo toxic and
Wow.
very dark, but also entertaining.
Yeah.
And you know we love the trash. So come on and join us.
Yeah.
Now, if you are watching on YouTube, please do not forget to like and comment and share and subscribe, because truly every single thing you do in support of your girls helps us in the algorithm.
Thank you.
So thank you in advance.
Appreciate it.
Now, before we get into this recap, I have to ask you, Beatrice, what was your takeaway after watching the third installment of the one-on-ones?
I just can't believe we're talking about the luggage rack again. I mean, how many times do
Who
we have to
cares?
like go over it? We get it. It's a symbol of the marriages. We understand.
Yes.
And my other takeaway is that I'm glad we're finally talking about finances and like intimacy a little bit.
Sort of.
I mean, yeah, but like we're getting some like little tidbits here and there, like
Kind
Mary with
of.
her accountant and stuff like that. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, but it's so surface level so
Yeah,
as
it
to
is.
simply piss me off, because it's not substantive enough and I want to know more. And they know that I want to know more and
Right.
they're not giving me more.
But it is the Browns, so
Yeah. And it's TLC
Yep.
and it's Puddle Monkey, the production house.
yeah.
Now, my main takeaway was that, like, I feel as if I'm on a roller coaster with Mary Brown.
Hmm.
Like, sometimes I'm like, yes, Mary, yes, Queen, you're almost there. You're worthying up.
Yeah.
And then the very next week, she's throwing the women under the bus again, or she's bitter, or she's being a little judgy or petty. And in this episode, in this Tell Nothing, I thought she was doing a lot of that.
Oh, for sure.
When she was talking about Christine, talking about Cody or the luggage rack, she seemed to think that that was super petty and people shouldn't be comparing. And she was very judgy. And I'm like, but Mary, this is a show
Right.
about y'all.
Right.
And you're going to be asking or fielding questions about y'all.
I
And
agree.
Cody's the patriarch.
Yeah.
And Cody's the problem. Cody's the malignancy. And so, of course, Christine is going to speak on it. So it just felt like she's not a girl's girl.
Mm-mm.
She's still trying to defend Cody for some reason. She looks stupid.
I know.
I'm embarrassed a little bit. Like, you called her pathetic a few weeks ago. And like, she really does sometimes come off as pathetic. Like, why are you still being so diplomatic with these a-holes?
I
They don't
know.
deserve it.
I just don't get it. Like, you can not like Christine, or you can not like have a relationship with Christine or Janelle, but still understand like their perspectives about something like the luggage rack or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, I just didn't understand why she's like, quit complaining. Stop complaining. I'm like, you're rude, dude.
Yeah, and at least they're doing it with their own mouths,
Uh-huh.
whereas you need your rando friends to get in front of cameras to do the
Exactly.
complaining that you actually want to do but don't have the guts to do.
Right.
And it really pissed me off when at the top of this episode, she's like, well, I don't know who to trust. Like, should I trust Cody and Robin? They're telling me that Janelle is the one who does the money. Or should I trust Janelle because she's saying that it's Cody and Robin? I'm like, Mary Brown, do you have eyeballs in
For
your head or
real?
what? Have you gone over to their house and seen the phoenix rising from the ashes? Have you seen all the artwork? Did you see the American Girl dolls? Did you see the amethyst crystal wing? Like, come on, Mary.
I know. It's like, how many examples do you need to finally get that Cody and Robin are terrible people? Like, she just still thinks that they, like, have good intentions sometimes.
I know, and I don't understand it.
I
I was thinking that maybe it was because at the time that this was being filmed, Coyote Pass was still unresolved. So
Mhm.
maybe she's thinking, oh, I should err on the side of just not dragging them to filth
Maybe.
because maybe he'll make it hard for me to get my money. But at the same time, I'm like, what are you even talking about? You knew that Janelle was in an RV.
Right.
You knew that Janelle didn't have a place.
Right.
Like, you could see the disparity between the two folks. And I'm just like, I don't understand you. And I didn't like it.
I agree.
And so that was my takeaway. All right. So why don't we get into the recap? Again, we are on season 19. This was episode 28. 28.
28.
Of the one-on-one
Yeah.
part 3.
Yes.
So take it away, Beatrice.
Well, we start off the conversation talking about some juicy stuff, I think, about Coyote Pass. And this leads into like a bigger conversation about how nobody trusts each other, how finances were managed and mismanaged throughout the years. And Cody says some bullshit. Christine says some bullshit. It's actually pretty good, but we start off with Coyote Pass.
Mhm.
Suki asks Mary, what the heck is going on with this land? And Mary's like, well, it's been paid off, but we're still trying to figure out how to legally divide everything so everybody gets their fair share. And then we watch a clip
Mhm.
where we have Cody, I think, talking to that weird rando realtor on
Yeah,
Coyote Pass and talking about how, legally he doesn't need anybody else's permission to figure out how to divide everything, but he's trying to figure it out to be fair because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And this kind of pisses off Mary a little bit.
Right.
But she kind of agrees with it at the same time because it's Mary.
Well, she has to admit that she was stupid.
Yeah.
And irrespective of the fact that she, I assume, contributed equally to Coyote Pass, she allowed for her name to be listed on only one plot along with 2 other people. So she ends up only owning 33% of one plot out of 4. So that was stupid for a grown-ass woman. That was stupid for a businesswoman who's in the process of worthying up.
Yep.
And so while she's upset that he says that he doesn't need permission, she has to admit that he's right because she allowed it to happen.
Yep. And this gets into the conversation about how they just don't trust each other because Cody says that the other wives don't trust him because they want to get alimony and they're pissed off that they can't get alimony.
Yeah.
And that's his justification for why Janelle and Mary feel the way that they do. Oh, they just can't get alimony out of me. That's why they don't trust me.
Yeah, so they're trying to get something. And I just thought to myself, what would have happened after he went and protested for rights for polygamist families? Like, if he were able to actually marry Janelle, Christine,
oh my God,
and Mary, they would have been entitled to some alimony and even child support.
Of
and
course.
he would have been made to pay under the laws that he would have wanted to create. But now that they're gone and he's got his McMansion and now he's got his McMansion number 2. He's like, yeah, well, they're just trying to get something out of me. Well, of course they are.
Of course.
She was married to you for 33 years. She's entitled to something. This is the very least of what she is entitled to. And Mary goes on to say, well, I contributed just as much. And I wonder if she contributed even more to this family as anybody else. And she didn't come right out and say, but I didn't receive in equal measure. But that was kind of the subtext.
Oh, definitely.
And this is where we get into, I even had to get my accountant and my books and sit down with Cody and Robin. So not just Cody. And show them, look, this is how much money I've paid into the family. And they were surprised. And I guess after that, they stopped complaining about it.
I guess.
I really wish Suki would have said, well, what led to that though?
Right.
Like, what led you to have to sit down and show your books? Were they accusing you of something? And if so, what were they accusing you of?
Yep.
But we never get into any of that information, unfortunately.
No, of course not. I mean, Mary kind of alludes to it where she's like, I think maybe Kody and Robin thought I wasn't contributing equally. And then they were surprised. Like she actually says they were surprised that she was contributing way more than they thought to the family plot, which is just interesting to me because then we get into
not just the family plot, but like to the family, because she was helping to pay for all of those kids to go to school.
Yep.
I mean, the ones that did, a lot of kids went into the military, but like she was contributing to Janelle's kids and Christine's kids, and I assume Robin's kids. But then she lets us know once again
that she had to pay for Leon's college and Leon's car and everything. But then we have Kody saying that once the older kids all went off to college and everything, nobody contributed to the younger kids, which means Robin's kids. So therefore, the whole family has to still pay for Robin and her children.
So is that why he's stealing all this money? So that he can make them pay for his kids?
I think he's trying to justify it. Like, because on its face, objectively, we all know that Kody and Robin have been stealing money from the family plot, allegedly.
In our opinion,
they have been stealing from all of these women and stealing from all of these other kids. I mean, look at their mansion, allegedly.
I mean, duh.
Like, they're bank robbers, allegedly. But you know, Kody, I think, is trying to spin it like, oh, the other wives were actually the selfish ones. They only cared about themselves. They didn't contribute to Robin's house. Like, he says something like, the first corporate paycheck that hit their account, Robin didn't get any of it.
Yeah, but the family had to pay her debt, though.
Duh.
The family had to pay for her townhouse, though. The family was probably paying to relocate her, though.
Yep.
And they didn't really have the fluidity to do that in season 1. Remember when they get to Vegas and they're trying to get their first rentals in Vegas? It's Janelle who's like, I can barely feed my kids.
Yep.
So this TLC money isn't that great. And we still have to support this vagabond Robin.
For real.
And that's why you didn't get the first corporate check. But like, how is that distributed? Is that the first season's corporate check?
Right.
Is it the first episode's corporate check?
Yeah.
Like, did she then get episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8? Like, come on, Kody.
I know. He's just trying to spin it.
He's obfuscating.
And he's not telling us the full truth, because if the full truth came out, like, it would prove that him and Robin were stealing everything, allegedly. So it's just like so messed up. And this gets into a greater conversation about money management, because again, Kody is running with the narrative that it was Janelle's fault, that Janelle was the one that was in control of all the money. It's so messed up. Like, she was the one that mismanaged everything. And he says something like, you know, I don't know where money was going. Money was going to pay off certain things when I thought it was going to pay off other things. And again, he's just trying to undermine Janelle, which Janelle talks about. She's like, this is Kody's MO. Like, he knows all of our weaknesses. He knows that for me, financial security is a big thing. I mean, hello, Taurus. Like, I want to be stable. I want to be stable in my material wealth. And so he's hitting her where it hurts the most and insinuating that she's dumb and doesn't know how to manage finances.
Well, but he's also trying to take the heat off of him.
Exactly.
Because they're also having conversations where they're saying that Kody had the discretion to move money around and give it to a wife if she needed it at a certain time. And so like he could actually look at what was in, I assume, the family LLC and then allocate funds from there. And here's where, you know, even though I just ragged on Mary for not necessarily trusting Janelle over Kody and Robin, like we do have to admit though that at the very least Janelle was the bookkeeper.
Yep.
She saw the taxes and the preparation for the taxes. She saw the LLC funds. She knew what was coming in. We also know that she knew how it was being moved around because last season she was the one who said, like, I see the money and I see what they're paying for, and there's no reason we can't be paying off Coyote Pass right now.
Yep.
So we know that Janelle knows these things, and yet she never did send up the flare and let Mary know, hey, just FYI, this is how much we get, but this is how much he's using to pay for his Dickensian village and for her American Girl dolls.
Yep.
And this is how much is being allocated to the different wives. And it is unfair. She never told Christine because Christine tells us that Janelle was very tight-lipped. And so as much as we love Janelle, and I'm sure it was a burden for her to do the books, like at the same time, you should have been letting everybody know that there was a problem in the Brown LLC and that Kody was being unfair. But maybe, and I'm just floating this to you, maybe Janelle was a benefactor of those funds. Maybe because Kody had discretion to give a wife a little bit more, maybe she got a little bit more than Mary did, and she knew it. And even more than Christine did, and she knew it. And so that's why she didn't say anything. What do you think about that?
Maybe. I mean, I could see that as a possibility, but like Mary talks about how she got in trouble for talking about like how things were being allocated, and like got in trouble for talking about how Coyote Pass was divided. And I think Janelle talks about it too. Like she got in trouble for talking about like where things were going or commenting about how much money Cody and Robin were spending. So maybe that's why she's so tight-lipped. Maybe that's why she didn't tell the OG wives, because she was going to get in trouble.
But don't you think she had a duty to? Don't you think as the record keeper and the bookkeeper, and Kody is implying she had more of a hand in their like how they creatively handled money? Like,
yeah, but I think
don't you think
BS.
she had a duty to tell the other wives, maybe not Robin, but Mary and Christine? I kind of do.
I mean, yeah, like morally, I think you had a duty. I would have said that. Like if I was a part of this family, I would have been like, yo, this is what's happening.
You should have told me.
Yeah, like this.
That they were funneling all this money out of the LLC.
That's what I would have done. I would have done that the second I saw that stuff happening when Robin came into the picture. But at the same time, like I think in the earlier seasons, Janelle was like a totally different person. She was so much more subdued and like more insecure, I would argue, about like maybe her place in the family or like maybe her own finances and stuff. And she was just worried about like, I've got to work. I mean, back in like season 1, season 2, season 3, she's the only one with like an external paycheck. Everybody else is dependent on TLC. Like Kody was in sales, but then he quit it for TLC.
Right. He was selling signs, honey, in Cody, Wyoming.
And Robin was racking up all that Victoria's Secret debt.
Right.
So like nobody was doing anything. I mean, I don't want to shit on like Christine or Mary. I think Mary was like doing something
I think she had a part-time job. She liked to work with kids.
Yeah. But I'm like, why didn't you have a full-time job though? I'm sorry.
Right.
But Christine was like mothering all of the children. So that full-time job in and of itself. So like Janelle was the only one with all of that on her shoulders. So I want to give her that credit, but I could see your theory too.
Well, and I'm just saying that maybe that's why Mary has a little bit of a problem, because historically she knows that Janelle had the information.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Christine.
Yeah.
To ask for her opinion on what she thinks Cody's going to end up doing with regard to Coyote Pass. And she's the one who says what we all are thinking, which is, oh, he's going to screw them.
Oh.
Like he's greedy. When it comes to money, he's never fair, and he's not going to give them their fair share, which made me wonder as I was watching, like, does Kody see this footage before we do? Like, does he have like any editorial power with production where he can see what these other women are saying and maybe get some things to be cut out? Or what if Kody saw them say that and then said, okay, well, I better make sure that I divvy this up fairly because they're calling me out, and Christine is saying I'm not going to because I'm greedy.
I don't know. I mean, that would imply that Kody would have some semblance of self-reflection or like a little bit of a moral compass, because I feel like he really is as selfish as Christine and Janelle are saying he is, because after Christine says that, like, Janelle and Mary are going to get screwed. Janelle says something like, you know, every time Kody is in a financial deal or whatever, he always ends up on top. He always ends up with more. He always is looking out for himself. And now he's looking out for himself and Robin. So that's all he cares about.
Right.
I don't think he gives a shit about Janelle or Mary or Christine at all, except for what they're saying about him, because it hurts his ego.
And the kind of light that will shed on a current lawsuit that he is he is in because,
Yeah.
again, Christine, at the time of this filming, has just sued him for child support.
Yeah.
This is child support that is retroactive for 3 years. This is child support that will take into account however much money they are siphoning away from that Brown LLC so that she can take her cut. So, like, he's mindful that there's already an active lawsuit, and he knows that these women might sue him for Coyote Pass. And so I'm just wondering if this ultimately incentivizes him to do the right thing, even though maybe he didn't want to do it inside of his heart, his cold, dead, demonic black heart.
I mean, it should. It should light a fire under his ass. It should make him do the right thing because he should do that
Anyway,
general.
yes.
But yeah, I could definitely see that. Like him finally doing the right thing because he sees this and realizes that he's in deep shit and he needs to get this off his plate. Because honestly, he does. How are you going to pay for that McMansion if you got a bunch of lawyer fees?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm still wondering about that.
Me too.
And it's through these conversations about Kody and being greedy and constantly being out for himself that we get into Janelle's observation around narcissism. And she calls out Kody's propensity to love bomb. And then for there to be issues and conflict, and then there's a dip in the relationship, and then he comes back in and he love bombs, which is indicative of somebody with narcissism. And so Suki tries to dive a little bit more deeply into that. And she's like, look, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not here to diagnose people, but I'm like, draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, like I could see the patterns.
Yeah.
And that was really great. And I think Christine also echoes this, like he's super selfish. He only takes care of himself. And then this gets into a conversation about intimacy, which was really interesting with Christine. This was really sad, but it was really interesting to hear her speak about it because we haven't really like talked about it in depth before.
Right.
But Christine talks about her and Cody's sex life.
Oh, God.
Which I just...
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Cringe.
Mormon love.
Oh my God. All that soaking.
Oh, God. Stop it. With their Mormon magical underwear and everything. Oh, man.
But apparently, according to Christine, in the beginning of their relationship, it was fine. It was all right. It was okay. It was mid. She was taken care of, at least, according to Christine. But as the years rolled on, and especially once Kody married Robyn, it really declined. Christine, according to her, when Kody married Robyn, her and Kody were like already pretty much over, but they were kind of hanging on, you know, probably for the family and for the kids and stuff like that. But their sex life got really bad to the point where they were only screwing 5 times a year.
Yikes.
And they were basically just using each other.
Ew.
For a physical need. And then, you know, Kody stopped taking care of her in general. Emotionally, financially, physically. Like, he stopped altogether. She was completely independent. And then she talks about, you know, when she left Kody, she was gonna fuck her new man before marriage because she had to make sure that he was attracted to her sexually.
Valid.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I remember when I was setting out into my new life after I graduated high school. I moved out. I was a missionary. Okay, I graduated high school. I became a missionary. I was with YWAM, Youth with a Mission.
Stop.
I know. I traveled to the South Pacific one day and met a boy and started fooling around a little bit with that boy. But I was a complete virgin and everything like that. But I came back and then I met, within a few months, my first husband. And I remember my mom telling me, like, I will not give you my blessing unless you move in with him first and have lots of sex. Like, do not marry anybody without sampling the D, honey.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure it's good. Make sure you like it. Make sure he takes care of you, because if he doesn't, it is not worth it. Don't do it.
Wow.
Don't do it.
Based.
And so I made sure that I did
You
have
sampled
sex.
it?
I absolutely sampled.
And you ate his ass.
Oh my God, you cannot say that.
Why
That's
can't
for that's for the VIP patrons.
God.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Like, those are the types of things we talk about.
That is the type of
in our uncensored bits on Patreon.
She
But
ate his
like,
ass,
she wanted to make sure that I didn't enter in blindly.
Yeah.
To a situation that I would regret later on.
Yeah.
And so I did. And so I can really feel Christine here. She's like, no, I need to make sure he's actually going to be able to get it up for me.
Totally.
And that he's attracted to me, because Kody made it very clear that I was revolting to him when I ate nachos, and that, like, he didn't find me physically attractive. And that was so painful.
And this was something that Christine talks about was like her biggest I don't want to say like weakness, but like her biggest like sensitivity point, that Kody uses this against all of the wives. Like, I think earlier we forgot to talk about it. Kody undermines Janelle and her finances and like how she manages finances because that's really important to her. That's her biggest insecurity. So he attacks that. He attacks Christine's biggest insecurity, which is him not being physically attracted to her, which I think would be a lot of people's biggest insecurity. And so this is Cody's MO, and this is also a pattern of why he's a narcissist, allegedly. Because he love bombs and he attacks people at their weakest point. And this is how he manipulates people and emotionally abuses them.
Right.
And it made me wonder, like, what was Mary's weakest point?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk about Mary's and like what he uses against her. But maybe it's because she is so desperate for love and like desperate for his love. And so maybe he weaponizes that.
Probably.
Because that's her biggest like weak spot. Because I swear it's like, we talked about this, I think, last week. Like, if Cody's just nice to Mary,
that's all it would have taken.
She'll just praise him no matter what and think that he's so great. She doesn't care about anybody else. I don't understand it. I don't understand what she sees in him.
Right.
But I guess because they were each other's first loves and I don't know.
No, but I think that's a really good point. I think that maybe that was Mary's weakness, was loneliness.
Yeah.
And a need for companionship, which is just like a basic human need. That's something that we all want, and just to love and to be loved.
Right.
That is what she wanted and expected in the relationship. And that is absolutely what he withheld from her.
Yep.
And probably made her to feel like she did not deserve it because of the things that she did. Because she talks in this episode about how she has carried guilt for other people.
Yes.
And like always had to apologize for things or like try to take somebody's pain onto herself and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that just echoed to me back to like the catfish and to that betrayal that Kody is still trotting out to try and use against her. So
right, as if he cares.
I think with Mary, it might have been that. It might have just been the desperation for some kind of a connection that he weaponized.
And see, and like if Mary could get along with Christine, they could really commiserate right there because I feel like Christine is very similar.
Very, very much so.
I mean, hers was more about like the physical intimacy and stuff like that and the romance, but like it's still that you want that companionability. You want to feel like your partner loves and desires you. And I feel like if Mary could just get the stick out of her ass, like maybe her and Christine could be friends, but I digress.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I agree. And then we get into more of a detailed conversation about PDA and making out with people.
Listen, is this the part where we had to watch the clips of
the compilation?
Christine and David making out like over and over and over again. I just had to go limp.
I know.
I had to vacate my body. My consciousness had to leave the earth plane and travel anywhere where I didn't have to hear and see that.
I know. Like, we didn't have to have the sound effects.
At all. Oh, God, no.
We didn't need to hear that. And honestly, I wanted to forget about all of that because we talked about this many months ago when we covered these episodes about how cringe Christine was with just making out with David all the time. And like, look, we're happy for her. That's great. But it has been a lot.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of PDA.
And even Janelle's like, yeah, like that's great and all, but I don't necessarily want to hear all those noises. God. And even my kids are like, that's gross. A lot, Mom.
It is a lot.
And in the moment with Suki, it seems like Christine and David are aware that it's a bit cringe. Yeah. And so she's a little bit embarrassed, although David's like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love the lap dance too. And she's like, oh, David,
please don't bring that up. No. I'm so glad they didn't show that
But
clip.
You know he wanted to talk about it more. Yeah.
Because he loved that. I'm sure he loved it.
Which one?
Both. Maybe he plays for both teams a little bit. Hey. But this gets into a conversation about like PDA and how they couldn't really show a lot of PDA in their plural marriages and that this was kind of a rule that they established early on.
Before Robyn,
which Robyn talks about how she wasn't really fond of that.
But she did not have a choice and she was told.
Forced.
She had to conform.
Yeah.
She had no say.
God, so awful.
And Suki asks her, well, who told you that? She's like, I don't want to say.
I don't want to name names.
It's Christine.
You think it's Christine?
I do think it's Christine because then they pan to Christine and Christine's like, yeah, like you need those kinds of rules though in polygamy because if one marriage isn't really working out and then you see your husband having affection with another wife, like it's really hard. And so I do think it was probably Christine, maybe a little bit of Mary, because
I was
Janelle
gonna
is
say.
like, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, they can make out, that's fine. They're married, and I understand that.
Right. I think it was probably Mary and Christine. Because I think Mary probably didn't like it either. I mean, but then Kody says some shit about how Janelle's mom came to him early on in their marriage and said, hey, quit making out with Mary in front of Janelle because it makes her feel bad. But then you have Janelle saying, I never cared.
And she doesn't seem like the type who would have cared.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because she knew that they had other marriages. She even says that. She's like, of course. Like, I expected that. I feel like Janelle, out of all of them, didn't care at all. But I think when Robyn came into the picture and the other wives, like Mary and Christine, saw how much in love Kody was with Robyn. And that's obvious. Like, you don't have to kiss and everything for people to know. Like, you know, just by how they hold each other and all that stuff. It's a vibe check. Vibe check. So, like, they know. I think that was probably what the conversations were. But then we have Kody bringing up a story that he doesn't want to talk about, but he's going to talk about it a little bit anyway. So that way we all wonder about it. About how him and Robyn didn't feel safe to show their affection in the family because of something that happened that was so awful and so traumatic, apparently. But he won't say about what. He won't say about who.
Only that it caused them to be kicked out of the family.
Kicked out of the family. What does that mean?
I don't know. I think what caused you to be kicked out of the family is your destructive and damaging behavior and the way that your wife has isolated you away from the rest of your wives and your children. That's what caused there to be an estrangement. But like really got me thinking, he's either straight up lying. He's just saying that because he wants people to think that they're victims as usual, or there's something that happened. But when? It's not something that I've seen in any of the seasons that I've watched, but in the back of my mind, I keep thinking about Mykelti no longer talking to Cody and Robyn because of something that happened at the funeral.
Right.
And I can't imagine that they would be like making out at Garrison's gravesite or something, but I can see a world, especially when you have them riding on the same horse and she's like, oh my God, he's such a rancher and a cowboy, like trying to be a little bit extra in terms of the PDA. Like what if they were doing that around the time of the funeral and it was like way too fucking much for the family. And they're like, that's it. I've had enough of you a-holes. I never want to see you again.
I could see that 100%. I mean, but Kody says that he can't show affection in front of Mary and Janelle with Robyn until they're married off. So something happened with those two is what he's implying, but I don't know. Maybe he's just lying.
I think he's probably lying.
He's got to be, right?
But if he's not lying, it feels like it's something that's more recent than something that happened a long, long time ago.
That would make sense.
But I don't know. What does everybody think? Because let's workshop this and try to put our little raccoon heads together.
Figure it out.
Yeah, to see what happened.
But I'm just like, screw you, Kody. Yeah. Why are you bringing up a story and 100%. Then saying you don't want to talk about it? Like, talk about stirring the pot and starting drama. And then you want to say some bullshit like, well, the world just hates true love.
Right.
When you're in love, you are subject to so much wrath.
I'm like, shut up. Get this man off of my television.
For
he
real.
Is so rude. He is so dismissive of Suki. I actually felt like I was a little triggered for Suki because it was like she was dealing and she knew she was dealing with an abuser, like trying to have a conversation. And we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
But just trying to finesse like a way in to keep that person talking and expressing themselves without like also activating this irrational part of them that causes them to lash out, which Kody, the way he looks at her, like he's just like, I think that's all I want to say about that.
It's so
like,
aggressive.
Oh my God. Sit across from me and try to speak to me that way, you fucking piece of shit. See how that goes for you, my guy. It ain't gonna go very well. Like the self-control that Suki has when he's being so disrespectful is out of this world. Props to Suki for that.
Definitely.
Because I would have just been cursing that small little man. And now he's taping up the tendrils. Did you notice that?
Yes!
Sidebar, honey.
Yes!
Because before we have the tendrils down on the forehead.
He's gluing them there.
He's now like got like a headband back there. He's got a rubber band or something. He's gluing his stupid tendrils to his bald ass pate. He looks foolish. He is foolish. He's dumb. He's a liar. And I'm just like, I don't know how Suki didn't assault him physically right there. Not that I advocate for that.
You know what? Speaking of that sidebar with his hair, you'd think he would have siphoned some of that family money to go to Turkey and get those hair plugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, you could have fixed your hair maybe.
Yeah.
Like earlier in the seasons when it was starting to really recede. You probably could have fixed it before it got to this point. Because what happens when those tendrils fall off? Then you literally have this giant gaping cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
With your little ramen noodles taped on the back of your head.
He looks so preposterous. It would
so
be
bad.
Infinitely better just to shave it, honey. Like David does. Just get rid of it.
Rock the bald.
But nope. Here we go. Looking like a peacock. Looking like a deranged, narcissistic, demonic peacock.
Straight up.
I hate him so much. Just the energy he was bringing. And again, I was just frothing, thinking about why, TLC?
I know.
Why do you indulge this little hateful, awful, abusive man? Why do you let him sit on the couch? He's getting paid for this. And he's giving absolutely nothing. He's lying to Suki's face. And then there's Robyn also lying and giving absolutely nothing. She can't even be arsed to watch the clips that they're presenting. This is too traumatizing.
It's so hard for me.
It's so traumatizing. It's so hard for me. God, get some balls, TLC. Fire these people. Oh my God, if Suki would have just said, okay, well, if you're unwilling to answer any of these questions, you can leave.
Yep. And you won't get paid for the next two tell-alls.
And then just say nothing. That intentional pause.
Yep.
And see what he does. You can get up and leave. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Bye. That'd be so great.
Nobody wants you here.
That would be so great if she could do that, but they won't because they kind of need Cody and Robin, I think.
They don't need Cody and Robin.
I mean, I know, but we also all watch the show.
I hate the show, though. At the same time, I hate the show.
We watch the show anyway, though. That's the thing.
I'm starting to hate it more and more, Beatrice.
I know.
Somebody save me. These people are irredeemable.
They really are.
There's really no light in them. There's no good in them.
Well, that's because they're being persecuted because the world hates true love.
Okay.
And the world hates Cody and Robin's true love.
Why do they get away with it? Why do they get a $2.1 million mansion?
Oh, that won't last long.
Although we should revisit that because I don't know how they are going to pay for this. If they could only just pull the plug, please, on these people.
Oh my God.
We would see them flounder and flail.
Just bankrupt.
And declare bankruptcy.
Would love it.
But TLC's not on our side.
No.
Production doesn't give a crap about what we want. And so he gets to sit there like a little peacock, terrible a-hole, and disrespect Suki, who's trying her hardest to get anything out of him. Sorry, tangent over.
She definitely is. And I think she did an interview with Sarah Fraser. We didn't watch it because
I don't like Sarah Fraser. Sorry. You might like
her. But I think she was trying to talk about that and talk about how difficult it was to try and keep everything straight with interviewing all of these people for hours upon hours on end and doing individual interviews and having to be respectful and having to deal with Cody. I watched a clip where Suki was telling Sarah Fraser imagine sitting in front of Cody Brown for hours and trying to talk to him and deal with how aggressive he is and how much his energy is. It's so intense. So I get it. I understand. I know we've been hard on Suki, but it's more of I'm annoyed with production and how they do this one-on-one and how we don't have everybody involved together in the same room. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And then we talk about, after the world hates true love, we talk about Robyn and Mary's relationship or lack thereof and their friendship and how it's kind of deteriorated. Suki talks about how Mary and Robyn used to be very close and now they aren't anymore. And then we watch a clip of Robyn fake crying when Mary was moving out of her house in Flagstaff and giving her that junk journal and how she was really sad for Mary to leave her all alone in Flagstaff by herself. And this is where Mary talks about how, the relationship hasn't been reciprocal for a really long time. I'm tired of reaching out.
Well, but before she says that, though, Beatrice, Suki asks her, well, what do you think of Robyn crying?
Oh, yeah.
And Mary says, well, I mean, I think she was coming to terms with the reality that it was done. Because she had spent so much time advocating for me and trying to keep Cody and I together, and it just didn't work. And so she was sitting in the awareness of that.
Yeah,
I'm no, She came. She hadn't seen you probably in weeks, if not months. She came to perform for the cameras, to cry on cue and give you an ugly journal, and then get out as soon as possible. Can we call a spade and just say what it is?
That's what's so annoying about Mary is like she just doesn't see situations for what they are. And like, granted, you know, Mary's a bit of a victim in this situation. Like, she's a victim of Cody's narcissistic abuse, allegedly, you know, like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, holy shit, like, wake up and just see it. And Christine comments about it and comments about how unfair it was for Robyn to constantly tell Mary, no, Cody still loves you and you guys should try and work things out and blah, blah, blah. Like, Christine straight up says it's bullshit.
It was a manipulation.
Yep. Which I loved Christine for saying that. And I hope Mary watches that and takes that in, because all of her other friends are saying that.
Right. And so you would think that Mary actually thinks that as well.
Right.
She's just choosing not to acknowledge it in this moment for some reason.
I don't get it.
But like, Christine is 100% correct. This was a manipulation. Robyn wants you to stay because it's easier for her if you do. And I'm just wondering, were you still financially contributing while you were in Flagstaff?
She probably was.
And if so, how much?
Yeah, I wonder. It would be really nice.
So of course Robyn didn't want you to leave.
Yeah. Of course not. Because Robyn needs the money. She's not going to be able to pay for all those American Girl dolls.
No, $60,000 in a year, Beatrice.
Girl, insane. And then this is where Christine says that Mary's friends are actually really awesome and really great for her because they're healthy and telling her the truth and being honest. And that Robyn was never really a good friend, because if Christine was in Robyn's shoes, she would have been telling Mary to leave years ago, because even Christine saw the dysfunction between Mary and Cody. It seems like everybody saw it except for Mary for some reason. And then we have Cody saying that actually Mary's friends are just jealous of Robyn because they actually want to be Mary's BFF just like Robyn was Mary's BFF. And that's why they're talking so much shit about me and Robyn.
Right.
They're just jealous.
Right.
And then the last topic that we get into is the luggage rack.
Well, let's bring in Robyn, because she does comment and say that like she would be willing to have a friendship with Mary. I mean, if there's something I need to fix, I'm definitely willing to fix it, but I have no idea what I would need to fix in the first place because I haven't done anything wrong. She also talks about how when Mary left Flagstaff, she said like, yeah, we can stay friends. And then it was Robyn who reached out and said, hey, when you travel I don't know how many hours back to Flagstaff and do all the work and pay for the gas and put the miles on your car to come back to Flagstaff, let's go do something fun together. Yeah. After you do all the work. And then she never really heard from Mary. So like, she needs to reciprocate too. And I was thinking, okay, Robyn, what about the, I don't know, 4 years that Mary was in Flagstaff, living down the road from you? Like, she selected a rental with a jungle gym in the back so your kids could come over so she could hang out with your family. All she wanted was to be a part of your family, and you assured her that she would be. After you got her money from the sale of her house in Vegas, it was crickets. Yeah. So what about all that time when you just ghosted Mary? Like, no, we don't want to address that. We just want to address, well, since she left Flagstaff, I really haven't heard from her.
See, and that's such a manipulative thing that she's even doing right there, because Mary's the one that starts off saying it wasn't reciprocal. And Mary's been saying this for the last couple episodes in this season. Like, I just don't feel the same energy from Robyn that I'm trying to give to her. So like, why do I even bother? And now Robyn's trying to say, no, actually Mary's the one that's not reciprocating. Right. And she does kind of say this like, well, we both feel like it's not reciprocal. So I guess it's just going to be how it is.
Right.
But I do want to fix it, though, because I'm a good person.
Well, and for somebody who keeps talking about recency bias, like you're just relying on what happened recently. You're not really speaking to the many years that preceded Mary leaving Flagstaff and how you treated her as a friend, or like failed to treat her as a friend. Like, speak to that. But of course she won't.
Nope.
And production is not going to compel her to. And then we get to the luggage rack.
Yeah, we talk about the luggage rack again. We see another clip of Christine and Janelle talking about the luggage rack situation. I think at Gwen's engagement party or some.
I think it was Christine's, actually.
Was it?
I think it was something for Christine. It was like at the cantina where she's eating the birria and she gets the juice on her white.
Someone's party.
I don't know, something like that.
Who cares? They talked about the luggage rack though, and how Janelle and Christine bonded over this and how it was more of a symbol for the fact that Kody was a selfish piece of shit and didn't care about the other wives. And then Suki asks everybody in the one-on-ones about the luggage rack. And Mary's the one that's like, stop complaining, Christine and Janelle. This is so petty. Stop complaining. Like, I just don't see the point in like comparing our relationships and complaining about these stupid petty things.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Christine has suffered over 20 years of traumatic neglect from a man who has also neglected you.
Yeah.
Mary.
Hello.
And so maybe it's going to take her a little bit of time to get over that. And maybe David is a safe space where she can actually off gas and vent and share with him her issues and like how it affected her. And so I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it anymore, but maybe that's because you don't want to deal with your own stuff and face the fact that Kody did all of this and more to you as well. And you just seem to be okay with it. And I don't know why, because you like to preach about worthying up and standing, I guess, 10 toes down and who it is that you are. But who are you though?
I know, for
like,
real.
Literally, who are you? Like, why are you aligning yourself even passively with these people who have straight up financially abused you and the other wives and all of those kids? Like, who are you though?
I really don't understand it. And I don't understand why she's like really doubling down on this. Like, why are you talking about Kody to David, Christine? Like, why are you doing that? And it's like, this is what Kody is saying. Kody says like, well, I can't believe Christine and Janelle are still talking about me. They divorced me though, but they're still talking about me. She's echoing the same shit that Kody is saying. I don't understand why you're doing this. It doesn't make any sense. And like any normal person will talk about their ex from time to time with their current relationship. Because that's just what you do. And I don't want to be mean. But I was just going to say, like, sorry, Mary, you're not in a relationship, so you don't understand that.
Just building upon that, like, you've never really been in a great relationship or a healthy relationship where you were centered and focused, like the focus, and anybody gave you like unconditional love. So you don't even know what that's like. And so Christine is in a whole new experience, and it's safe for her to talk about these things. She's in an experience that you've never had. So you're uneducated on the matter entirely, and yet you want to sit there in judgment about how these other women are processing, keeping in mind that this is a show.
Yeah.
And like we're sitting down for a one-on-one, and Christine gets to bring her partner. So he's going to be there to witness whatever she has to say on the subject of the show.
Exactly.
So I don't know why it's so mystifying to you, Mary, other than you just want to be, I don't know, the best ex-wife, the favorite ex-wife.
Yeah, because you're such a pick-me for Kody Brown.
Right.
Like, congrats.
You want to be the best ex-wife and you don't want to make him mad or whatever. Like, how's that working for you?
Yes. And that's the aspect of Mary that really just annoys me, because I'm just like, I don't understand how you can like try and play both sides, where you are critical sometimes of Kody, but then you go back and defend him against the other OG wives, and then shit on the other OG wives for talking about him and talking about their experiences with him. It's so gross.
Well, conversely, I found it interesting generally that while Kody from time to time was a bit critical of Christine in this episode, he was for the most part really positive.
Yeah.
Talking about like, well, like she's obviously found somebody. She wants to eat his face. I wish nothing but the best for her. And I'm like, why are you being so nice? But it's because you got sued by her.
It's the lawsuit.
You don't want to antagonize her. You probably know if this goes to discovery exactly what she's going to discover about you. So you best not piss her off.
I was thinking that because I'm like, are you actually happy with this? Because with how you reacted a couple seasons ago with Christine actually leaving you, you were freaking
in the kidneys.
Knife in the kidneys.
The sacrifices I made to love you.
He was so fucking mad.
Yeah.
But now he's like trying to be all mature and like,
he's like, great.
Yeah,
she's so happy and she deserves it.
it. That's what she always wanted. It was kind of interesting that he was acknowledging that Christine was a huge romantic, and like she always wanted this like intimate romantic relationship that he could not provide her. And when they were talking about the intimacy, like he says that they both were just like not really into it. And so there was some aspect of him, maybe deep down in the cold, dark depths of his heart, he's like acknowledging a little bit of accountability for their broken marriage. But I think you're right. I think it's about the lawsuit.
You didn't really hear that with Janelle. Like he seemed to be more angry with Janelle. And I was just like, he knows that Janelle just lost her son. You think he would be a little more careful, a little softer with whatever he has to say about Janelle because he knows the pain of that loss. But no, he wasn't.
No, he's bitter.
Yeah, and I think he's motivated by money, and he's just trying to defend himself and what he has.
Definitely.
He doesn't care about Janelle, and he doesn't think Janelle can do anything to him.
No, well, because remember, his biggest fear is poverty.
Right.
So he'll do anything he can to avoid that. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yes.
But anyway, when we get back to the luggage rack conversation.
Oh, God, are we not done with that?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Mary says it's petty complaining. Christine and Janelle talk about how it's like a funny thing that they commiserated over. And then we get to Robyn. No, actually, then we get to Kody. And Kody says, well, I don't remember a luggage rack. And actually, there was no luggage rack because me and Christine were in a 4-door sedan. There was no luggage rack. So he's trying to pretend like he doesn't even remember, or like the memory doesn't even exist.
Or that he didn't watch the clips that we all just watched and we saw him watching, in which they were talking about being in a hotel and using the luggage rack in the hotel.
Exactly.
So he's being antagonistic to Suki here. He's like, yeah, well, we didn't even have a luggage rack on the car.
Yeah. But we're talking about the hotel, dude.
Right. Yeah.
And then he says something to dig at Christine, like, if she's going to continue to compare herself to Robyn, she's going to be super unhappy. So again, this is like the narrative that Kody has that, oh, it's Christine just comparing herself to Robyn. Like, Robyn's actually perfect and it's Christine who's crazy. And I was actually a really good husband. And then we get to Robyn. And Suki asks, well, did you get the luggage rack? And Robyn says, well, yes, I did. But this is also stupid. But yeah, I did get the luggage rack.
Yep. So smug.
So smug.
Yeah.
And then she says something like, well, maybe it's because I put my luggage there first.
Uh-huh.
So again, putting the onus on the wives.
Right.
And not Kody being selfish.
Yeah.
And then we end the episode with Suki telling Christine, yeah, Robyn got the luggage rack, and Christine's all shocked. Oh my God.
Like, we didn't know that?
I know.
I
Like,
mean, of course.
We've been knowing.
I mean, but like, how hard would it have been, Beatrice, for somebody just to break it down for everybody else and say, well, what the luggage rack symbolizes is that Kody puts himself first and he doesn't really care about me and my luggage. And so my stuff has to go on the floor and he only cares about himself. And if he does put Robyn's luggage on the luggage rack, that means he cares about her. But why didn't he care about us?
Right.
That's what they're really trying to highlight,
Yep.
which is legitimate and valid.
Yes.
Which we could actually have a deeper conversation about, but we never kind of get to those depths. And so it's just a luggage rack conversation.
It's like super annoying to me.
Very frustrating.
That we can't just like confront Kody and Robyn directly and be like, you guys preferred each other. Like, that was the biggest issue between your whole entire family. You guys found love. You guys preferred each other. You broke up the family because you couldn't keep your hands off of each other. Like, that's it. But, like, we can't be that direct with them.
No.
And it's really annoying.
Well, because Robyn will straight up lie about it.
Yes.
And Kody will throw a temper tantrum about it. And he'll just stop talking.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's super annoying.
Yeah.
Then we get to the preview for, hopefully, the last episode of this season.
Oh, God.
But I'm just like, I wonder
Help.
if we're going to have another, like, little special or something.
Come on. For
But
what?
I don't know. I just feel like they're going to have something. But hopefully not. Hopefully next week is the last one-on-one. And we have Janelle again saying that Kody is hyper-focused on appearances.
Mhm.
We know.
I don't care.
We've been talking about
I don't
this.
care.
Holy crap. Then we have Kody saying that even though Janelle and Christine divorced him, they still talk about him. Like, again, we're on a show.
I know.
We have to keep talking about you. Robyn saying that she's not tracking any of the complaints from the other wives.
Like,
but
I don't get it. I don't know what they're saying. I'm like not keeping up with any of this because I don't really care. Just give me my paycheck.
You are totally keeping up with it, though.
Mhm.
She's totally watching all of the footage.
Look
all
at her
the time.
eyebrows. She
Hello?
changed them. She heard
Exactly.
the criticism.
Yeah, she's on the Reddit. She's reading everything.
100%.
And then we have Mary saying that she never introduced Robyn to Kody.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting.
because this has been a matter of Sister Wives lore.
Yep.
And I hope that she actually explains how it actually went down, but I doubt that we'll get there.
Yep. And then we get into the conversation about the lightning bolts and the pussy.
Yeah.
And how Kody only ever had that feeling with Robyn. Robyn only ever had that feeling with him. But Christine says she had that lightning bolt in her pussy for Kody.
Which is amazing.
Yep.
But yikes.
Cody says that never happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this because Kody was apparently repulsed by Christine
Disgusted.
since the
How
beginning.
dare she eat nachos?
For real.
Mhm.
And then we have Kody saying that Robyn laid him in a rose garden bed of trust.
I hate him. I hate him.
It's so disgusting the way he describes their love, honestly. And then Suki asking Kody if he would do this all over again. Plural marriage, being with the OG wives. And I really hope he says yes because of his children. I think he will say yes
because of his children.
But I don't know.
But he could say no.
What if he's like, no? And then all of his children are just like, Dad. I feel like he's going to say no.
I feel like he's going to say yes. I think he has enough like awareness to understand that he cannot say no.
I would hope not. Maybe he'll say yes for the children, but no for the wives.
We'll see.
Yeah.
In the final installment of Sister Wives season 19.
I hope it's the final installment.
I'm so exhausted. Like my eyes are crossing.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot. It's just like running through the timeline and the clips and the commentary of things we've already discussed a million times before. I feel like these tell nothings could have been condensed into one episode to get like the things we want to talk about, which is Coyote Pass.
For real.
The divorces, maybe the friendship between Mary and Robin or whatever. Yeah. But like, we didn't need to spend this much time. It's just eking it out.
Yes, it really is. They're trying to get as much money as they can, I think.
Apparently.
And then we're going to have allegedly season 20 at the end, like at the end of the summer?
Yeah, something like August or September, according to Nikki Haverstock, and this is a rumor only. Oh, but let's get back to the second McMansion.
Yeah.
I did want to just talk about this with you again because Nikki Haverstock, like apparently saw either the receipts, heard from a realtor that Cody and Robin were thoroughly extended on the original McMansion, meaning anytime their home increased in equity, like they were a little bit up, they took out a loan, they refinanced, they did a HELOC, but they pulled that equity out. And there were multiple loans against the first McMansion, so much so that even though they sold it, I would imagine for 1.6. I know they listed it for 1.6 million. They had loans against it for a lot, if not almost the entire amount. And we know they purchased the second McMansion with a down payment that came out of a trust. And it was for like $400,000. So that's how they made the down payment. But I just feel like there wasn't a whole lot of additional liquidity other than the assets aren't liquid. Like they didn't really have a whole lot of money to put down or to spend in order to purchase this home. And I'm just really wondering now as we're exiting the season, they're in the house. They've got it.
Yeah.
They sold the other house.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to make these payments? Because a $400,000 down payment on a $2.1 million home is still $1.7 million that they're financing unless they were able to throw some more money at it.
I doubt it.
$1.7 million. What kind of mortgage are you looking at with that? Like,
I mean,
it's at least $10,000 to $15,000 a month, right?
Oh, at least. And then depending on like what interest rate they got it at too, like if they got it at 6%,
right?
Oh my god,
I mean it was terrible last year. It was in the sevens.
It was really bad. And like Flagstaff is not a cheap area, so like I don't know what their property taxes and stuff are like either. And then you have all the utilities and stuff. Like I don't know how they're paying for this shit. Maybe that's why Kody has dropped seeds this season about selling Coyote Pass, because I know Robyn doesn't want to. She wants us to believe that she's still holding on to the dream or whatever. But maybe that's why Cody's like, we got to figure this out so we can sell, so they can use that money to maybe put towards the house or whatever. I could see something like that.
I'm just really wondering how all of this is being balanced by Cody and Robyn. And as we've discussed millions of times before, but it's just like so juicy not to continue to reiterate like what happens when Sister Wives goes away, or we do something like an after Sister Wives with just the girls and what they're doing and just the kids, and like no Cody and Robyn, like what are they going to do? They're going to have to sell their house.
Oh, they're going to have to downgrade.
They're going to have to downsize. And all of their vehicles. And all of the college tuition and the private schools. Oh my God.
There's no way. Like if they were like actually smart with their money, kind of like with Christine and David. Like David's got that nice construction business. Like he's making money. Christine's making money with her MLM stuff
and her TLC stuff.
And her TLC stuff. And then they have their Airbnbs.
Right. They've got two now in addition to their own home.
Yep. They've got a lot of passive income that they're doing fine. And they got like a nice house, like and I'm not trying to like downplay it. Like it's a modest house compared to Cody and Robin's McMansion.
Which is ugly, by the way.
It's horrid. Absolutely horrid. But like they got a nice house with a nice view and everything.
Yes.
They're not like living beyond their means. They're like,
I don't think so.
I would hope not. It seems like they're doing pretty okay. But like Cody and Robin are not smart. They have this huge mansion. Like I think they're either taking out debt to pay some utility bills and stuff like that. Like they're screwing themselves.
And Robin, I think, has a legitimate spending problem.
Oh, definitely.
Like the fact that you are allegedly purchasing $60,000 worth of American Girl dolls.
Insane.
I think in a year, right?
It's like
was it
like
over time?
No,
in a month? Oh,
it was like in a month.
I mean, at least a year, if not a month. The fact that you're spending money on such stupid, frivolous things while there's like a lawsuit pending, a potential second lawsuit because they didn't know whether Mary and Janelle were going to sue and what they were going to get. Like the fact that you're still just bleeding money like that means that this is your personality. This is the kind of stuff that you do. Means that you're doing it right now.
Oh, definitely.
In addition to having to pay for all of your kids' cars and the insurance and the mortgage and all of the things. Oh my God, I'm stressed out just thinking about that.
Know.
And the thing is these two people, and I hate to like count people's coins and I hate to be judgy in this way, but they don't deserve it.
No, they don't deserve it at all.
Deserve to live a life of lavish luxury.
Absolutely
when
not.
the other wives, and the kids don't have their fair share.
Yep.
I mean, I don't begrudge anybody their wealth. I think like if you're earning it, you're building
That's great.
That's fantastic. But like when you're stealing it though, or when it's not fair, allegedly, like when you're siphoning money away from people who have earned that money, like you should not be able to prosper.
No.
And so I'm just
they won't.
monocling this, like waiting for the moment when the house of cards falls.
It's inevitable at this point. Karma is a bitch, like Jojo Siwa has said. And so I think it's going to happen. We're going to see it. We're going to be reporting on it.
But like
on shit.
the Cody and the Robin that we're watching in these tell-alls, they're living like that's never going to happen.
I know.
They're living like they have the power in the situation
Delulu.
and they can tell Suki what to do and they can answer the questions as they wish. They're living as if this is not a precarious situation that they're in. For me, I would be like ingratiating myself, bitch. Like, what can I? Of course you can come into my house to film. Absolutely, I'll share my life story with you. But they have no sense of what is coming for them.
I mean, they're so delusional. But like, wouldn't you have to be if you were in this big of a hole? Like, if that shit that Nikki Haverstock is saying is true about the multiple liens on their or loans on their previous McMansion, and then having to sell that, having no liquidation, and then having to take money out of a trust, like whose trust was that? Was that one
and
of
how
your
did you
kids'
build
trust?
that? No, it's their trust, but how did they build that trust?
Yeah, exactly.
Off the backs of the women that were disenfranchised and the children who were exploited to make this show.
Right.
Yeah.
What if they took all of that money out so that way nobody could fight for it? What if they took all that money and then put it into the house? Kind of like a money laundering scheme. Like washing their money so that way nobody would try and take any of it.
And what if Janelle saw it? What if Janelle saw the movement of the money? And she's a smart cookie. You can't tell me if she saw it, she wasn't wondering to herself, like, what are they doing with that? And I see all these assets building. And we have Maddie, who's her daughter, talking about those assets. So they're talking, Janelle and Maddie are talking together. Yeah. It's like, why did Janelle let that happen?
I don't get it. Or maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Maybe, girl. I don't know. Interesting stuff. And we're talking about the things everybody wants to talk about, but which Suki will not ask them.
Of course not.
So, all right. Well, is there anything else that we need to say to these beautiful raccoons before we get up on out of here, Beatrice?
Well, if you love our podcast, please go to your favorite podcast platform and leave us a glowing 5-star review. It really helps us grow the pod so more people can join us in the dumpster, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
We have one more episode from Sister Wives season 19. That's going to be next week. We will be back for that to discuss all of that and more. And also, we'll have a plan put together about what we're going to be covering from that point on.
Yeah.
Until then, please do not forget that we have nothing but love for you and peace. out.